Are you hungry right now? Because today's episode might make that problem worse.
Yes, seriously. If you are listening before lunch, good luck.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Loop. I'm Alex.
And I'm Lisa. It's so nice to have you here with us today.
Today, we're talking about one of the best topics ever.
Food.
Exactly. Simple, delicious, and very useful for everyday English.
Yes, food is one of those topics you can talk about with almost anyone.
Friends, coworkers, family, people at school, people when you travel.
Right. You can talk about what you eat, what you like, what you cook, what you order, or what you want to try.
And the best part is, you can practice a lot of very natural English with this topic.
Also, it's just fun.
It really is. So, Lisa, since we're already talking about food, let me ask you the first question.
Go ahead.
What did you have for breakfast today?
Today, I had something light. I had yogurt with strawberries and a little granola.
That sounds very fresh.
It was, and I also made a cup of green tea.
Of course you did.
You say that like it's surprising.
No, not surprising. Very on brand.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
It is. So, yogurt, strawberries, granola, and green tea. That sounds like a very calm breakfast.
Yes, I like calm breakfasts. I don't like eating anything too heavy in the morning.
That makes sense. Are you always like that?
Most weekdays, yes. I usually want something quick and easy, but still healthy.
What about weekends?
Weekends are different. On weekends, I sometimes make avocado toast with eggs.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and if I have extra time, I cut up fruit too. Maybe kiwi or blueberries.
That sounds like a breakfast someone would order in a cute cafe.
That is exactly the feeling I want.
I respect that. My breakfast is usually much simpler.
I'm not surprised. What do you usually have?
On a normal workday, I usually have oatmeal or toast.
Oatmeal? Really?
Yes, oatmeal is easy, warm, and fast.
That's true.
And I usually drink coffee with it.
Of course. Here comes the coffee.
Always. Morning without coffee feels incomplete to me.
How do you take your coffee?
Usually with milk, no sugar.
That sounds very reasonable.
Thank you. And sometimes, if I'm running late, I just grab a banana and a coffee and leave.
That is a very real weekday breakfast.
Exactly. Not exciting, but practical.
I think a lot of listeners will understand that. Some mornings you have time, and some mornings you really do not.
Very true. But I do love a bigger breakfast on Sundays.
Oh, tell me more.
On Sundays, I sometimes make pancakes.
There it is, a strong breakfast choice.
Yes, pancakes with sliced bananas and a little maple syrup.
That sounds so good.
It is. Not every week, but when I do make pancakes, it feels like a proper weekend.
I love that. A special breakfast can change the whole mood of the day.
Definitely. So, breakfast for you is usually light and fresh.
Right.
And breakfast for me is usually simple, warm, and coffee-centered.
That sounds accurate.
All right, let's move to lunch.
Yes, because by lunchtime, I'm usually very ready to eat.
Same here. Lunch is important. What do you usually have?
During the week, I like lunches that are easy but filling.
Such as?
I often have a rice bowl with grilled chicken and vegetables.
That sounds balanced.
Yes, and it's easy to prepare ahead of time. Sometimes I add carrots, cucumbers, corn, or broccoli.
Nice. Do you use sauce?
Usually a little soy sauce or a simple sesame dressing.
That sounds really good.
It is. And some days, if I want something lighter, I'll have a wrap.
What kind of wrap?
Usually turkey, lettuce, tomato, and maybe a little cheese.
That sounds like a very solid lunch.
It is. What about you?
I'm a big sandwich person at lunch.
Really?
Yes, I love a good sandwich. Turkey sandwich, chicken sandwich, sometimes tuna.
I think sandwiches are underrated.
I agree. A good sandwich is excellent.
Do you usually eat it with anything else?
Sometimes fruit on the side, maybe an apple or some grapes.
That sounds nice.
Or soup if the weather is cold.
Soup and sandwich is such a classic combination.
It really is. And if I'm eating out, I often order a rice dish or pasta.
So your lunch changes depending on where you are?
Exactly. At home, I keep it simple. If I'm out, I want something a little more interesting.
That makes sense. I think lunch is different for everyone. Some people want a very big lunch, and some people want something small.
That's true. For me, lunch needs to give me energy, but not make me too sleepy.
Yes, that is the key.
Because if lunch is too heavy, the afternoon becomes difficult.
Exactly. You sit down after lunch and suddenly you want a nap.
Which is not always possible.
Sadly, no.
So, for lunch, we both like meals that are easy, balanced, and not too heavy.
Yes, something tasty but also practical.
All right, now let's talk about dinner.
Good. I like dinner because it feels more relaxed.
Same. Dinner feels slower to me.
Yes, breakfast is often quick, lunch is often busy, but dinner feels like the meal where the day starts to calm down.
That's such a good way to describe it.
So, what do you usually eat for dinner?
On weeknights, I usually keep dinner simple. I make pasta, stir-fried vegetables, or baked chicken with potatoes.
That sounds comforting.
It is. I like food that feels warm and easy at the end of the day.
Same. I don't want anything too complicated when I'm tired.
Exactly. And once or twice a week, I make soup.
What kind of soup?
Usually something like chicken soup or tomato soup.
I love tomato soup.
Tomato soup with bread is one of the best simple dinners.
I agree completely.
What about you?
I love noodle dishes for dinner.
Oh, nice.
Yes, noodles with vegetables, sometimes tofu, sometimes chicken.
That sounds great.
And I also like salmon with rice and greens.
That sounds healthy and delicious.
It is. And when I want something very easy, I make an omelet with vegetables.
That's smart.
Yes, eggs are quick and you can add almost anything.
Very true. Do you usually eat a big dinner or a smaller one?
Usually medium, I think. Not too big, but enough to feel satisfied.
Same for me. I don't want to go to bed feeling too full.
Exactly. Dinner should feel comfortable.
Okay, now I have to ask you the important Friday question.
I know what's coming.
On Friday night, do you cook or do you order food?
Honestly, a little of both depending on the week.
Fair answer.
If I've had a long week, I sometimes order takeout.
What kind?
Sushi, noodles, or sometimes pizza.
Very good choices.
Thank you. What about you?
Friday night is one of my favorite takeout nights.
I knew it.
Yes, sometimes I cook, but a lot of Fridays I just want something easy.
So what do you order?
Pizza is a strong favorite.
Of course.
Or burgers if I'm really hungry.
Wow, burgers.
Yes, Friday is not always the healthiest night.
That's okay. Life needs balance.
Exactly. And when I order pizza, I usually go for mushrooms and sausage.
That sounds very Alex.
Is that a compliment?
Yes, definitely.
Good. What's your favorite pizza?
I like a simple one. Tomato, mozzarella, basil, maybe olives if I'm in the mood.
That sounds elegant.
Thank you. I like elegant pizza.
That should be your new personal slogan.
I would happily accept that.
So we've covered breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Friday night food, but what about snacks?
Ah, yes, the little foods between meals.
Are you a snack person?
Yes, but I try to be careful.
What do you usually have?
I usually go for fruit, nuts, or yogurt.
Very healthy.
I try. An apple is easy, a handful of almonds is easy, yogurt is easy too.
Those are good choices.
And if I want something sweet, I sometimes have dark chocolate.
That's a very nice treat.
What about you?
I like mixed nuts, bananas, and sometimes crackers with cheese.
Crackers and cheese is a good snack.
It is, but I also have a weakness.
Oh?
Cookies.
I knew it.
Yes, especially chocolate chip cookies.
That is a classic weakness.
Yes, I try not to eat them every day, but if they are in the kitchen, I definitely think about them.
I understand that completely. I feel that way about pastries.
Really?
Yes, if I walk past a bakery and I see a nice croissant or a fruit tart, it becomes very hard to say no.
That is very relatable.
Thank you.
So snacks for both of us are usually simple, but we both enjoy a sweet treat sometimes.
Exactly. Healthy most of the time, fun sometimes.
Now let's talk about fruits and vegetables because they're such common food words in English.
Yes, and they're easy topics in daily conversation too.
What are your favorite fruits?
I love peaches.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, peaches are sweet, soft, and very summery.
Nice choice.
I also love grapes and mango.
Mango is excellent.
It really is. What about you?
I'm a big fan of oranges.
Really?
Yes, oranges, blueberries, and watermelon.
Watermelon is perfect in hot weather.
Exactly. Cold watermelon on a warm day is amazing.
I agree.
And what about vegetables?
I really like spinach, carrots, cucumbers, and mushrooms.
That's a good list.
Thank you. I know some people don't love mushrooms, but I really do.
I like mushrooms too. For me, favorite vegetables are broccoli, roasted carrots, green beans, and tomatoes.
Tomatoes count?
In daily conversation, yes, I'm counting them here.
Fair enough.
I especially like vegetables when they're roasted.
Me too. Roasted vegetables taste so good.
They really do. They're simple but full of flavor.
All right, now let's move to drinks.
Important topic.
Very important. So besides your beloved coffee, what do you usually drink?
Water first, always.
Good answer.
I try to drink a lot of water during the day. Then coffee in the morning, sometimes iced tea in the afternoon.
I can see that.
What about you?
Water, tea, and sparkling water sometimes.
What kind of tea do you like most?
Green tea during the day and herbal tea at night.
That sounds very peaceful.
It is. A cup of tea in the evening makes everything feel calmer.
I get that. Do you drink juice often?
Not every day, but sometimes. I like apple juice and orange juice.
Same. And what about soda?
Only once in a while.
Same here. Maybe with pizza or at a party.
Exactly. It's more of a treat than an everyday drink.
That makes sense.
Okay, now I want to ask the big question.
I'm ready.
What is your favorite food in the whole world?
Just one?
Yes, you have to choose.
That is difficult.
I know.
All right, if I really have to choose, I would say my dad's roast chicken.
Oh, that's a lovely answer.
Yes, it's simple, but it means a lot to me.
What makes it special?
The smell, first of all. When it's cooking, the whole house smells amazing.
That already sounds good.
And he always serves it with potatoes and carrots. It's one of those meals that feels warm and familiar.
I love that. Sometimes favorite food is not only about taste, it's also about memory.
Exactly. What about you?
Mine is ramen.
Ooh, great choice.
I love it so much.
What do you love about it?
The broth, the noodles, the toppings, it's warm, flavorful, and comforting.
That's true. Ramen feels like a full experience, not just a meal.
Exactly. And there are so many different kinds.
I support that choice completely.
Thank you. Now let's do something fun.
A role play?
Yes, let's pretend we're in a restaurant.
Great, and I'll be the customer.
All right, here we go.
Hello?
Hi there. Welcome to our restaurant. Table for one?
Yes, please.
Right this way. Here's your menu.
Thank you.
Would you like something to drink first?
Yes, please. Can I have a glass of sparkling water?
Of course. Are you ready to order, or would you like a few more minutes?
I'm ready.
Great. What would you like?
I'd like the grilled salmon with rice, please.
Excellent choice. Would you like a side salad with that?
Yes, that sounds good.
Perfect. And would you like anything else?
No, that's all for now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Your food will be out soon.
That was nice and simple.
Yes, and that's the point. Ordering food in English does not have to be difficult.
Exactly. You can use simple phrases like, can I have, or I'd like.
Both are very common and very useful.
And if you need more time, you can say, I need a few more minutes, please.
Yes, that's a great sentence to know.
Also, being polite helps a lot.
Definitely. Please and thank you make everything sound better.
And if you don't understand something, you can ask, sorry, what do you recommend?
That's a very useful question.
Or, what comes with this?
Yes, that one is great too.
Restaurant English is actually a very practical part of daily English.
Absolutely. You can use it when traveling, meeting friends, or even just getting coffee.
Speaking of coffee, should we do one more mini example?
Yes, let's do a cafe example.
Okay, I walk into a cafe.
I'm the person at the counter.
Hi, can I get a latte, please?
Sure. What size would you like?
Medium, please.
Hot or iced?
Iced, please.
Anything to eat?
Yes, I'd like a blueberry muffin, too.
Great. That'll be ready in just a moment.
See? Also very simple.
Yes, short sentences work really well in food situations.
All right, before we finish, let's quickly review.
We talked about breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We talked about snacks, fruit, vegetables, and drinks.
We shared our favorite foods.
And we practiced how to order in a restaurant and in a cafe.
That is a lot of useful everyday English.
It really is. And food is such an easy topic to practice because everyone has something to say about it.
Exactly. You can ask, what did you eat today?
What's your favorite fruit?
Do you like spicy food?
What do you usually order at a restaurant?
These are simple questions, but they can start very natural conversations.
And they help you sound more comfortable in English.
Yes, everyday topics build real confidence.
All right, before we go, we want to ask you a question.
What is your favorite food?
Tell us in the comments.
We'd really love to know.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who is learning English too.
And don't forget to subscribe to Daily English Loop.
Thanks so much for listening today.
We had a great time talking with you.
Now we're both hungry.
Very hungry.
So we should probably go find something to eat.
That sounds like an excellent plan.
Until next time, keep practicing your English.
And keep enjoying the learning process.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next time.